Hello everyone and welcome to AskPolymathGeddy. Back with another question. We have a question from Keith in Pennsylvania. He wants to know, what is the most important thing a parent can give to children? And he said he's going to have a kid soon, so congratulations, Keith. I hope it works out well for you. I hope you're in for a ride that teaches you and the kid everything about life that you need to know to fulfill your destiny. Now, your question is actually a great question that I think all parents need to know the answer to before they even think of having kids. The world is filled with too many kids that don't have parents that know how to raise them right. So that's a great question to ask, and I'm glad you asked me. I think I have the answer for you. The most important thing a parent can give to their children is not tender care, food, a house, even love and support. Although that's important and it plays a role in all other things, I think the most important thing that a parent can provide for a child is the proper inner compass to make independent decisions about life. Now think about this for a minute. A parent is only going to be the guardian of the child for so many years. 16, 18, 20 years, something like that, depending on the society you grow up in, depending on the situation you're in as well. So basically the parent's job as being the nurturer, the provider, the teacher, the guardian, and so forth, is very limited. The vast majority of a human being's life, if they live a full life, is as an adult, on their own, doing the thing that they're put on this earth to do. So, as a parent, you have to best prepare them for life. And the best way to prepare them is not to teach them what to do necessarily, as a black and white, do this or do that, in all situations, although in some situations it's helpful to see things in that way. But it's not really a matter of telling them what to think, but just how to think, really, is important. And allow them to question things. Allow them to have a critical mind and not be gullible. Allow them to make decisions based more on reason and good sense and not easily swayed emotions that can take them off their focus and give them a sense of imbalanced perspective. So we really need to teach them how to think, how to be a critical thinker, how to make the right decisions based on those critical thinking skills. And that comes from having a good moral compass. So yeah, you should teach them right from wrong, and you should teach them about how to respect others, how to have empathy for others, how to defend themselves in situations. All that is important, but ultimately it all comes down to them knowing how to make independent decisions, help them become an independent thinker so that they can navigate through life without you and not be helpless. You don't want them to be helpless without you. You want them to be competent and capable of doing great things. So the day will come where you will not be in their life anymore. And I think all parents would like to go before their kids do. In which case, their kids are going to need to be independent. Even if their kid leaves at a younger age, late teens, early 20s or whatever, they still need to know how to make the right decisions about life in all situations, about relationships, about jobs and careers, about what to do on the street when someone approaches them, about how to handle people who are in need around them, how to look at their lives in a more positive way and how to affect other people's lives, and the responsibility they have with their abilities and their talents to affect other people's lives. All this is about knowing who you are, knowing how to make decisions, and thinking critically and independently, and having a good moral compass to back up those thoughts. And as long as you teach them right from wrong, and how to honor truth, and how to cherish that which is good, and love that which is uplifting, and then teach them the ability to weigh things for themselves. As they grow older, project different scenarios upon them, and see how they make decisions. And when they make a wrong choice, where they're perhaps inflicting injustice on the little teddy bear instead of the Barbie or whatever, you can say, hey, well, no, this character has rights, and I think you should regard this right and that right. You know, this person's harming that person. Why are you siding with the one that's harming the other one? Teach them right from wrong. Let them see scenarios where right and wrong is being played out, and teach them what side to go on in terms of right and wrong. And once they have that stable sense of morality, allow them their own ability to weigh different scenarios, the circumstances of scenarios, the information of scenarios, so they can make the right choice. So critical thinking from the heart is the best thing you can teach them, so that when they move on into the world, they can project the best version of themselves to others without the need of parents holding their hand making decisions for them. Very important. You're not going to be mommy and daddy for the rest of their lives in the same way you are when they're babies and children. Now when they're adults, maybe they can still consult with you for advice or wisdom or feedback or support or anything else they want to consult you with, friendship, whatever. That's great, but they're still going to be adults living on their own, having their own careers, starting their own families, and they need to be able to be independent. And when they have kids someday, if they do, they need to be able to teach their kids how to make rational, mature, responsible decisions based on the coming from the heart, based on reality, logic, and reason. So they also need to make independent decisions and teach their kids how to make independent decisions, who teach their kids to make independent decisions, and so on. As long as we raise a culture of independent thinking human beings that have a heart for one another and care for one another, a lot of problems in this world will be solved. That's what I think is the best thing you can teach a kid. I was learning that at a very young age, and then I had the school system and churches and so forth try to knock that out of me. I had to regain that for myself, and it was a long quest. So it's really important to teach your kids how to think critically, but not to just think critically, but have a heart and think critically. How to be compassionate, how to be loving while they think critically. Weigh justice, but also weigh mercy with it. That kind of thing. Make sense? So thank you for your question. And for all you guys that have other questions, send them in to AskPolymathGeddy@gmail.com. The most sure way to get them to me, where I can organize everything and follow through. Make sure you include your name, location, and a brief summary with your question. Just some background information so I can answer your question. Thank you very much, and I look forward to answering more of your questions.